Hello lads, welcome back to 100% Mags. So we are joined today by Luca and Josh. Luca from Luca AFC and Josh from True Gunner on YouTube, of course. You can go check out their links down in the description below. We were meant to be joined by, of course, Sophie from True Gunner Gossip, from Gunnar Gossip TV, sorry. The chat, of course, the link will be in the chat for her to join the stream. She is having a bit of technical problems at the moment, so hopefully she does get to join in on the stream. But if not, then of course it is myself, 100% Mags, and Josh from True Gunner, and of course Luca from AFC. So lads, how you doing?
Yeah, very well, man. Very well. Looking forward to the game. You know, it's going to be a good one as it always is. And thanks for having you on, Carl. Really do appreciate it, man.
No worries, Josh, mate. Luca, how you doing, mate?
I'm very good, mate. It's a long time, and thanks for having me on.
No worries, mate. So, of course, going into this game, we've already played each other this season already at St James's Park. A very controversial game, according to Arsenal fans. We were just talking about this over on Josh's channel, of course, where he was saying that he didn't feel, you know, Arsenal should have come away from that game, if anything. But, you know, what's your thoughts, Luca, mate, on the game at St James's Park? You know, what was your thoughts on that one?
Right. Let's go back all the way back from the first game. Yeah. For me, I think the performance for me deserved to be a 0-0 draw. I think that first goal should have never stood in the first place. I thought the ball went out of play. I thought it went out of the line. I think it was absolutely disgusting by the referee and the officials and the VAR situation. I don't think it shouldn't have counted. I think that game should have been 0-0. Look, I don't know what Newcastle fans actually think, the fan base thinks of them. They probably think it should have counted, but they're not going to complain because they got the 3 points to beat us. So, besides that, look, the performance was poor. Deserved to be a draw. We didn't hardly create anything that day, I don't think. So,
yeah.
I just look at it, look, this whole VAR situation, this whole controversials and all this stuff, ball going out of the line, crossing the line, something needs to be involved because it's ruining the Premier League, you know what I mean? Because I remember back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, Premier League used to be calm and all that. And we know the Premier League is still the best league in the world, but the trouble is, just look at all these stupid officials. I think something needs to be part of the play, but they're not doing anything about it. It's like, now they're, of course, they're going to end up involved in this. I don't think it will happen, right? But this blue card, Simbib card or something like that, when a player comes off for 10 minutes.
I don't think that'll work, mate.
Nah, I can't see it.
I don't see that one happening at all. I've, you know, said my thoughts on that one. On my channel, I'm sure quite a lot of people have said it. You know, it's going to just absolutely ruin football. I don't see that happening at all. I do not see that card coming into effect. There's no use for it. There's absolutely no use for it. Josh, mate, what was your thoughts, you know, on that game at St James's Park?
Yeah, you know, I do hear what Luca's saying, and I do partly agree with him. I think that goal, very controversial. I personally, I'm going to sit as an Arsenal fan and say that should have never stood, of course. But, you know, what we said on my channel, you know, I look at the bigger picture. You know, people can blame, oh, we were robbed, VAR's against us and all that. But look at the bigger picture here, people. We did not deserve to win that game by any means necessary. We were very, very poor in terms of end product-wise, creating opportunities. You gave us a very good game. And it's sort of like the game sort of changed for me when Kai Havertz decided to go for that tackle, and then that completely livened up St James's Park and livened up the crowd. And yeah, honestly, we were very, very poor on the day, man, and we didn't deserve to win that game. Yes, I agree. VAR, you know, I personally think that goal should have never stood as well. It was off the ball without a play, and possibly the foul on Gabriel as well. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting there saying we were robbed or anything like that. VAR's against us, because at the end of the day, look at the bigger picture, people. That game was poor. We didn't create anything to suggest we should have won the game. So yeah, I mean, it was a great win for us. I was very disappointed in how we performed, and ultimately a poor defeat against you lot as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest. I mean, Arsenal should not have come away from that game with anything. I feel the 1-0 result for us, and that game was just it was the right scoreline, and it was the right result on the day. Lucas said, there you heard what he said, saying that the ball went out of play. I don't agree with that, to be honest. I mean, even the referees themselves, have said on Sky after the game, they looked at it on Ref Watch. They said that was, clearly in. The curvature, the ball was still playing the ball in as well, but I feel it was a just result at the end of the day. Obviously, there's quite a few people that still, think that is a result that shouldn't have happened, but we'll move on from it. We'll go into this game down at the Emirates tomorrow, 8 o'clock kickoff down at the Emirates, a ground where we haven't had the best of results. We talked about it, of course, on your channel, Josh, mate, just before, not the best of results at all down at the Emirates for us. The most recent game, of course, last season being a draw. Again, a lot of Arsenal fans saying that was a controversial result. But, everybody's entitled to their opinion on it, of course. But at the end of the day, we'll see ourselves travelling back down there to the Emirates to, hopefully pick up maximum points if we can. If not, then, we'll see what we can get out of the game. But, of course, yous have been in action heading into this one. We've had a chance to have a bit of a break, and yous were in action against Porto. I mean, what's your thoughts going into this game off the back of the result that you had against Porto, Joshua?
Yeah, look, obviously that Porto result was very, very poor, very, very poor performance. Probably one of the worst I've seen Arsenal play this season against Porto. We offered nothing. We looked just slow. We looked lethargic, lackluster. We're playing Champions League and you perform like that. It's all about, you're meant to be fired up for these types of games. Yeah, this is where we're meant to be in the knockout stages, and we just wasn't fired up. Yeah, Porto deserved to win in the end, in my opinion. I think they were the better side. We were very, very poor, but we've been very good in the Premier League. These past 5 games since New Year. We went on a warm weather training trip to Dubai, and obviously because before that, we lost to Fulham, we lost to West Ham. We lost to Liverpool in the FA Cup. We lost 3 on the bounce, and everyone's like, "Oh, the fan base was divided." People were saying, "Oh, the season's done, it's over." And then since we've came back from the Dubai trip, and then when they sort of like recollected themselves and they sort of looked over things, we came back and we scored 21 goals in the past 5 games, completely blitzing teams, looking like the Arsenal from last season, really. We got that massive win against Liverpool. And then obviously this Porto game sort of, I don't want to say it's damaged our momentum, but that's what drives me against this game, is because every time I see an Arsenal lose a game, it's not like we bounce back. We lose 2, 3 in a row after that. It's been a recurrence thing every single time we sort of lose a game or drop points. So that's what rises me going into this game against you lot. But I reckon it's going to be a very tough game. I feel like it's going to be very similar to the way how you lot played last season against us, where tactically Eddie Howe got it spot on, I think, and people can sit there and say, again, a bit of controversy with Arsenal. Once again, we were poor in the final third. And I feel like you're going to make it tough for us. It's going to be a very, very physical game, as it always is. You're lot are going to be resilient at, defensively. I feel like you lot will have some chances as well. And we will, of course, what we usually do, and we've been doing this whole entire season against any single team we play, really, is we'll control the game in terms of possession. We'll have all the ball, especially at the Emirates as well. We'll dominate possession. It's about whether we'll take our chances, and our end products needs to be spot on as well, because that's been a big issue with Arsenal. The front three's not been firing. I mean, they have been in the past 5 games. Something's changed, but majority of the past half of this season, that's been the main thing we look at, is the end product's not been there. We're getting chances. We have 30 shots against West Ham, and we didn't score any of them, and they beat us 2-0. So I feel like it's going to be very similar to how you played against us last season, really. And I think, you've got some great players, as I said, like Alexander Isak, quality player, and if he's fit, deadly, player we've got to watch out for. Big fan of course, Bruno in the midfield. Harvey Barnes as well. I thought he's a good player. Anthony Gordon always seems to cause us issues every time we play against him. Your defense pretty solid with Fabian Schär and Botman as well. So I do think it's going to be a very tough game, and by any means, no means necessary, I'm underestimating Newcastle. Yeah, and I understand that you've had a bit of a hit and miss season compared to last season, but we spoke about it on my channel. It's to do with the injuries, to do with I think European football as well. It always plays a big part if you have played midweek and then on the weekend as well. It's always going to play a big part, and you have to have the squad to do that for me. So I'm feeling confident, though, man. I'm feeling confident, and as I said, the record goes in our favour. You haven't scored against us the Emirates since 2010, the last time you beat us. So yeah, certainly the record does go in our favour. But I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be low scoring, man. I think it's going to be very low scoring. I don't see us get smash you. I mean, I've seen a few people say, "Oh, 4-0." It's not going to be a 4-0. It's going to be 5-0. I hope it is, but realistically, it's not. Newcastle would not, for me, not do that. I mean, and we can't say you lying. I mean, you lot battered PSG. You lot can't turn up. You battered PSG 4-1. You obviously beat us. You beat a good Emery Aston Villa side as well. Going to Villa Park, by the way, a very good.
Somewhere where nobody has done it this season.
Exactly. You've done it. You've done double over Emery, right? Going to Villa Park, which is a very tough place to go to. Their home record's insane. It's an absolute fortress there. To get 3-1 away from home as well against Villa, something like that. So yeah, I'm not underestimating Newcastle one bit. I think you're going to go to a great game, but I'm very confident that we will get the win.
Yeah, like I say, there's been a lot of injuries this season forward. We'll see how the game plays out. I agree with you, analysts, to be honest, the way you've just said there. You have had a bit of an up and down season. You have had some pretty good games, some pretty bad games. I've got to say, I'm kind of hoping it's a pretty bad game tomorrow for you, to be honest, so that we can pick up the maximum points, of course. But yeah, to be honest, I think it's going to be a tough game as well. I can't see it being a very one-sided game, like some people are trying to portray it as. I don't think it's going to be that. What's your thoughts, Luca, mate, on the game? If you're there, I think he's disappeared. I think he has disappeared.
I think he's gone.
He's there, but I don't know if he's still in the stream. No, he's disappeared. I think he's lost. Are you back, Luca? No, he's gone. He's lost. Moving on, of course, to just talk quickly about, of course, players, that could be playing in the game, could possibly be out of the game. I think he's back now. Are you there, Luca?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Well, just asking, what's your thoughts on that game against Porto, and then, of course, your thoughts going into this game. What do you think going into this game, mate?
Look, my initial thoughts is, look, from that Porto game, we were absolutely terrible, right? Like, can you really name a single player that actually put in a decent performance for Arsenal? For me, no. Maybe David Raya. A lot of people are blaming David Raya. It's not Raya's fault. What is the goalkeeper supposed to do? No, any world-class keeper is not saving that shot in the 94th minute, right? And people had comparisons that Aaron Ramsdale was going to save that. Ramsdale was not going to save that. No keeper in the world would not save that. And it was Martinelli's fault. And the thoughts on the Porto game, we were poor. We looked very unorganised. We come up against a very experienced team that has won the Champions League before, 20 years ago. Had the likes of Costa in goal, Pepe, people who still play for the Portugal team. They had a couple of decent talent players. I've forgotten their names anyway. But for me, we were poor. We were absolutely poor. And this is the problem. Look, I'm not saying it actually has damaged our complete confidence. But if we do somehow lose tomorrow against Newcastle, that has 100%. Because Arsenal, for me, it's not doom and gloom, but it's put us in and Arsenal always do it the hard way. Because it could feel like I'm confident, 70% confident, that we can turn it around in the second leg. But only if we have Gabriel Jesus back. Only if we have Tomiyasu and Partey back. Now, all these players are back in training. Well, if they're back in training, why is Mikel Arteta not using them? They can't be as injured as long as they. Well, there must be something going on behind the scenes. And getting to the Newcastle game, I think it'd be a tough game. Isaac, is he available?
Like I said on Josh's channel, they're saying that he will be available along with Willock for maybe playing off of the bench. But hopefully, we'll see maybe that being more of a.
But if Isaac's not available, I think we can beat you. I do think Arsenal will win the game because Newcastle haven't beaten Arsenal at the Emirates since 2010.
Yeah,
and that Andy Carroll and the thing is, I really think this will be a really frustrating game. Like I do, because we go back to last season. That 0-0 draw, people were talking Newcastle the best defensive in the league.
Yeah, we're right up there with Man City.
But now you're not the best defensive, and all the pundits. I get all these pundits backing Arsenal. Fair enough, right? Because they don't think that we're not going to. Hopefully, Porto was a blip, right? But how do we know if it's going to be a blip? Because you never know. Newcastle, as Josh said, went to Villa Park and ended Villa's 16-17 home game unbeaten run. Villa were a fortress at home, right? Yeah. You picked up some decent results this season. You beat I don't know who else you beat this season. That
beat Man City. We've beat Man City in the League Cup. We've beat Man U. We've beat Aston Villa. We've just beat quite a few different teams all over the place. There's so many teams.
But this is the thing. You can't rule out Newcastle. Yeah, 100%. You can't rule out Newcastle. And people talk about, yes, Newcastle have all these list of injuries, right? You've still got players in there that are coming back. You've got Harvey Barnes, quality footballer, right? Isaac, if he's available, something tells me I think he starts tomorrow. I don't know why, but I think Newcastle.
I hope he does.
It's mind game. I do, but I am confident. We're at the Emirates. If it was at St James's Park, I would think we'll lose that because our record at St James's Park has not been great recently, and I think tomorrow's the massive game. Okay, and look, the players are going to be disappointed. They might have that in the back of their heads, but we've got a game tomorrow. The fans have got to remember that. And look at me. Have I got over the Porto game? Not really. Not really. That really hurt me the other day. And when I did a reaction in it, it really killed me. It really hurt me. So I look at it. Tomorrow's a massive game because Man City play tomorrow. I don't know who they got tomorrow, Man City. But Man City have got someone tomorrow.
Bournemouth, Luca.
Away.
Yeah, away.
That's 5-0 Man City on paper. So technically, Man City are playing before us, right? So if they win, I think they go 4 clear, right? So technically, that pressure is on us. And if we lose tomorrow, I think the title's done. I really do. I think it's completely out of the picture because if we win, we're 2 points behind. And then we're back in the title race again. So this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like about Arsenal playing all these kickoffs very late because it really puts pressure on us.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot this season. Look at me. I mean, I was discussing it with me dad and my brother, and we've seen that a lot this season, where the games have been very late kickoffs. And I think it's got something to do with the American audience, to be honest. I think because the Premier League's trying to cater to the Americans watching the games, we're seeing a lot more of very late kickoffs in games. Newcastle's had loads of them this season, and it's really, really bad. Again, this is another one, a late kickoff game where it's going to see, Newcastle fans travelling down there, probably getting stuck down there, because there's not going to be transport back up after the game. And they're going to end up having to try and find somewhere to stay down there, which, yourself, you're from down that area, you know that it's very expensive down there, to find somewhere last minute to stay. So I'm not happy with it neither, to be honest, that we're seeing a lot of these very late games. It's not something that, there should be going forward with the need to try and fix this, because the fans should always come first. Without fans, you don't have a game. We've seen that, during the pandemic, it just did not feel the same. Football just didn't feel the same without the fans there to cheer the team on. And again, the going down the path of thinking about the money before thinking about the fans, and you definitely need to be rethinking it, but moving away from that, of course, you talked a little bit, Luca, about the likes of Gabriel Jesus being out. What other players?
Zinchenko, it's going to be the same squad as it is as the moment, because Mikel Arteta has played the same lineup in the last few games, and we don't have no choice. I think I saw a prediction lineup out where, and look, prediction lineups are mostly not right. Sometimes they're right, but I saw Jorginho was involved in the prediction lineup, and maybe Mikel Arteta was looking at thinking, well, look, Jorginho didn't do nothing when he came on against Porto. He should have been one of the players who should have started that game, because it was a type of game where you're playing away from home. You need a midfielder with experience to control the game. And now when we play them at the Emirates, I don't want Jorginho starting that game. I want Thomas Partey playing that game. And now there was a rumour going around that Partey could be involved in tomorrow. Would I really want to involve Thomas Partey in a game against Newcastle? No, I wouldn't. I'd get him ready for Porto for that Champions League, because Arsenal have done so well recently in the league without Thomas Partey. Yeah. We should be using Thomas Partey in the Champions League against Porto. That is the most important game. Look, of course, both competitions are most important. I'm not trying to say Porto is the one we should go for the most, but all I'm saying is Champions League is more realistic. If Arsenal do somehow find a way to beat Porto, right, at the Emirates, and I think we can, it's just whether Arsenal will turn up. And then I think Champions League is more realistic, because it's a knockout competition, and away goals is not there anymore. And if away goals is involved, then we have a problem with Arsenal. So I look at it, look, tomorrow I feel like Arsenal in this game. I think my lineup, what I'll go for, I would actually play Raya in goal. Back four, I go with Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel. I don't think Tomiyasu and Zinchenko are not back for this game. Yeah. So I'll take his press conference here. I don't know when it is. So, and then, of course, Kiviwall will play at left back. In the midfield, I'll mix it up a little bit. I'd go with Rice, Odegaard, Jorginho. I involve Jorginho in a game like this at the Emirates. Then up front, I go with the same three as always: Trossard, Bukayo Saka, and Martinelli. I just make one change. I would have Havertz on the bench. I think he was poor on there Wednesday night. He didn't do nothing in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. Definitely. I mean, I just don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. The injuries have been such a down bringer on the season. They've really destroyed this season for us. If we didn't have them injuries, then I feel we're, might have had a better chance of getting somewhere more this season. If you look at it, there's a big chance that we could have even been pushing for the title this season as well. With the amount of goals that we've been scoring. We've scored a lot of goals this season. We've conceded a lot, but, would we have conceded as many of us we have, if we didn't have them injuries? That's what you've got to be looking at. Josh, what's your thoughts, mate, on what Luca was just saying there?
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with what Luca's saying, and I agree partly with his lineup. I would make a few changes personally, but yeah, in terms of our injury players, of course, we got the likes of Partey out. I mean, Partey, what it is, I've always said this as an Arsenal fan. I've always said Thomas Partey is also the most important player when he's fully fit. But the issue is with Partey, he's made of glass, bro. You know, this guy is quality. Yeah, he's absolutely world class on his day, and he brings us so much to the midfield. But he just never seems to stay fit. He just never seems to stay fit, and that's the real issue with us. But if he's back, it'll be massive. And I agree with Luca. I wouldn't rush him back. I would not rush him back yet. I agree. A bigger game, Champions League, get him in there, play the guy, start the guy there. But we've got a few injuries ourselves. Partey's the main one. Obviously, we got so unlucky with Timber, a new signing as well. Got an ACL in the first game of the season. Now he's been out ever since. So we got so unlucky with Julian Timber. Obviously, Zinchenko's been out. We've had to play a centre back, Kiwior, at left back recently. He's been doing a good job, but when it came against Porto, he looked awful. So Premier League wise, he's been playing really well. Anyone else I'm missing? Obviously, Tomiyasu just came back from the Asian Cup. He's a very good player, but obviously he's a bit doubtful for the game. So my lineup would be Raya in goal. I don't know why Arsenal fans are blaming Raya, really. They just want Ramsdale back in. Look, at the end of the day, look at the bigger picture. Martinelli giving away a stupid pass. I blame the goal on Martinelli for me. So Raya's going to be he's the number one. He goes in goal. The back four, Ben White right back, Saliba and Gabriel two centre backs, and left back we ain't got no Zinchenko. Tommy's still out, so it would have to be Kiwior yet again. Midfield would be Declan Rice and Odegaard, and then I'm disagreeing with Luca a little bit. I'm not going to play Jorginho for this game. I'm going to play Smith Rowe. I want to see Smith Rowe in there. I feel like we're going to need that creativity. It's going to be hard to break Newcastle down, so we're going to need that creativity, and Smith Rowe will give you that creativity. So like Jorginho is a guy who ultimately strengthens the midfield in the sense that for a type of game like, for example, we play Man City, man of the match, Jorginho. We play Liverpool, man of the match, for example. Those types of games where it's massive and it's a tough team, teams who go sort of come toe-to-toe with Arsenal, you play Jorginho. But when it comes to a team who and I've got to think Newcastle, will play similar how they played last season at the Emirates, where make it frustrating for Arsenal, play counter-attacking style of football. You need creativity. So that's why I'll go Smith Rowe. And then the front three has to be Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, and Trossard as the false nine.
Yeah, not bad lineup, Josh, mate, to be honest. You've got to watch out for them, like I said on your channel, the likes of Bukayo Saka down the wing if it's going to be Dan Burn playing there. Obviously Martinelli as well, another one that we'll have to watch out for. But if I had to predict my starting lineup for the game, which, like I said on your channel, Josh, mate, it's a tough one to predict because Eddie Howe always keeps his cards close to his chest. So if I had to predict the starting lineup for this game, I'd go Martin Dubravka in goal. Obviously, I'd love to have Nicky Pope, but it's not going to happen because he's nowhere near available yet. So Martin Dubravka in goal. Right back, obviously, Kieran Trippier picks itself. Centre backs Fabian Shaw and Sven Botman. Left back, I'd go Tino Livramento. For me, that would be the left back that I'd go with for this game. To supplement against that pace that Saka will be using down the wings. In the midfield, it's unfortunately going to have to be the same midfield that we've had. And I say unfortunately, but really it's not that bad of a midfield, to be honest. We do have Lewis Miley in there, Bruno in there, and Sean Longstaff in there. Work engine players, know what they're doing on the field. It would be nice to see Joe Willock get a go in it. Of course, it looks like he is going to be available, but if it's the bench or the starting lineup, who knows? To be honest on that one at the moment. And then moving to the front, if Isak isn't available for this game, then starting the game for me, would be Anthony Gordon in that attacking role. On the right midfield, I would go with Almiron. Unfortunately, have to go with Almiron. Preferably, there is an option to move Almiron over to the left, play Harvey Barnes on the right, being that Almiron is a left footer, so, he'd be a bit better suited to being on that left of midfield instead of playing on the right and having to keep cutting back to whip the ball in. But for the front three, you know, I'd go with Harvey Barnes at right midfield, Miggy at left midfield, and Anthony Gordon up top. If Isak's playing, however, then obviously Isak up top, Miggy on the left, and Anthony Gordon on the right for me. Do you guys agree with that, or?
Yeah, I mean, just listen to the squads. You know, without even with the injuries you've got, there's still players there who can really cause some issues, especially Isak. You know, that's the main one I'm looking at. I'm thinking, yeah, watch out for that guy, man. This guy is overall play. I mean, he's bagged 10 goals this season, but overall play is just superb. You know, I watched him against Liverpool when you guys lost 4-2, but he was excellent, man. You know, this guy is superb, and I've always wanted that guy at Arsenal as well. I remember him at Sociedad as well. It's so funny as well because Arsenal fans like the FBI. We was literally tracking his number plate in London. Yeah, he's at form. We's all sitting there saying, "Oh, he's joining Arsenal," and then he ends up going to you lot. But yeah, he's a great player, man, and he's one of the main guys who, if he starts, he's really, really threatening, and the player we've got to watch out for the most, really. You know,
is he better than Ivan Toney though?
Yes,
better than Ivan Toney. Well, look, of course, Newcastle fans, but in my personal opinion, I'm going with Toney. But I'm not taking anything away from Isak. He's quality, and I'll happily take him. Even if we don't get Toney, he'll be the guy who I want. But yeah, at the end of the day, right? You know, you saw like Livramento, who I remember watching at Southampton. You know, that was a good signing for you lot. You got that young kid as well. Is that 17, isn't he? Miley.
Yeah, Miley, yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing very consistent for you lot. You know, you got, of course, Bruno. Again, I said it on my channel. Wish we signed him when he's at Lyon. Absolute baller. You know, can cause you issues as well. Can dictate midfields. He's very, very good. Kieran Trippier as well. He's been at you lot, and that was a decent signing as well. He's free kick specialist as well. So yeah, man, you know, you do have, looking at that squad, you got some good players there who can cause some issues, man. Like likes of Harvey Barnes as well. The likes of Anthony Gordon scored against us last time. So yeah, you got despite the injury, you still got a very, very good squad, man.
Yeah, fully agree with you, mate. We've, like I say, you know, we've got fantastic squads, just injury problems this season. You know, if we didn't have that, and you know, we would have been right up there. Of course, we'll move on to the score predictions, lads. What's your score predictions, of course, for this game?
For me, this game, it all depends on what Arsenal turns up. Hopefully, Arsenal don't end up having that confidence from Wednesday night, because Declan Rice did say, "Look, we're not going to let." Of course, we've got that eye as well, and we're going to try everything we can to give the supporters what we want. But I think Arsenal will edge it. I think Arsenal are going to win 2-1. I just think we have enough quality to beat you, because we're at the Emirates, and we're going to try and look for revenge. It might not just be about the players getting revenge. They just want to focus on the game, and I feel like this is a big game for us. And I don't think you guys haven't really got anything to play for. Like, your top four chances are looking very slim. So I feel like Conference League is probably best for you lot, or Europa League. And if I was a Newcastle fan, to go from Champions League football to Conference League, I'd say it's not good enough. I really would not say it's good enough.
Yeah, but Luca, you got to look at it. Look, the injuries I had this season, and also having Champions League football as well. It's gonna. I remember when we had Europa League football Thursday night. It affects us so much in terms of league form. We finished eighth back to back because of Europa League.
Well,
football
we did.
As well.
Well, we did. But this is Arsenal Football Club, and Arsenal should not be finishing 8.
Oh, of course,
Newcastle,
I agree.
Newcastle are used to be finishing around the top 6, top 8. You know what I mean? I'm not cussing Newcastle or anyone thinks they're a top club, right? But Newcastle, if I was a Newcastle fan, the owners what they have, I'd be outrageous. I'd be like thinking, I don't care if they've got injuries, and I know they can't help that, but I just look at it and feel like you've just got Saudis in charge. Newcastle should not be finishing 8th, 7th, 8th, 7th, 8th, 7th.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from, Luca, mate. But you know, like as I said, so many injuries this season. That has been a big factor to why we're where we are, you know. If we hadn't had them injuries, we would be up there, you know, challenging for the title. Maybe, you know, that's just my opinion. Some other Newcastle fans may feel different. Personally, you know, if we do finish in the Conference League spots, I'd be happy with that, especially, you know, with the way this season's played out, you know, because Europe's Europe at the end of the day. You know, if we can get that Conference
You surely
League,
be favourites. You'll be favourites for that.
Yeah,
surely you'll be
because
favourites.
Yeah, they'll win it. They'll win the whole
it's
thing, I
a
reckon.
trophy, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's pretty much, I don't want to be big-headed or anything like that, but, you know, going into that, you're pretty much guaranteed to win that competition, especially if you're Newcastle, if you get me meaning. You know, when you look
Arsenal could have got Conference League a couple of years ago, but we
Yeah.
didn't. So that's why I remember it was the season when we lost to Villarreal in the semi-final,
Yeah.
2020, 2021. And I said on my stream, and I can't remember who I said. I think I said it to someone. I said I'd rather finish outside of Europe than get in Conference League.
Yeah, but but that's Arsenal Football Club. Like, the thing about a club like Newcastle winning the Conference League, it'd be massive. It's European. It's like when West Ham won it. It's a European trophy at the end of the day.
It gets where a trophy, really.
But this is the thing.
that's the
Clubs
main
like
thing.
West Ham, Newcastle, Brighton's, and that don't really get Europe. Europe is mainly for Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man.
Well, I wouldn't say that, Luca, because, you know, before Mike Ashley came on the scene, Newcastle, we were, you know, playing Champions League football under Sir Bobby Robson. You know, we were playing UEFA Cup, you know. So before Ashley came on the scene, we were in Europe. You know, we were in Europe and we were doing well in Europe. You know, we were playing some fantastic games in Europe until Ashley came on the scene. So, you know, Europe is definitely somewhere that Newcastle should be. We should be in Champions League football, don't get us wrong. You know, but this season, the way it's played out, you know, I don't see we're getting Champions League football now. You know, if we can get Europa League football, fair enough. But if it comes down to the wire, you know, and it's Conference League's the only one that we can get.
But the thing is, Europa League or Conference League means you're going to have a bigger squad, because do Newcastle have a financial fair play rule? That's the problem, because especially when you've got Saudi Arabia's in charge, you're still going to have financial fair play, even if you've got a rich owner, because technically you're going to be playing 3 games a week. Means you're going to have to sell some dead wood. It's going to be the same as us as well. We've got a rich owner as well, but that's why we couldn't buy a striker of an Ivan Toney caliber, because of FFP. Only if we sold players.
Yeah, but this season coming, when this season finishes, the season coming, it's going to be a completely different FFP system.
Yeah.
It's going to be a completely different model that they're going to go with. So, you know, nobody knows what's going to happen come the summer window, what it's going to be like, because it's going to be a completely different FFP system. And then you've got to put into factor, you know, the Adidas deal that Newcastle signed, other deals that we've signed as well. You know, so all of that's going to come into effect. All that's going to come into the coffers of Newcastle. You know, that's going to allow us to spend. A new sporting director as well, because Dan Ashworth's no longer going to be at the club. He's going to possibly be at Man United, you know, if they decide to pay that fee to get him out of his gardening leave. If not, then he's going to have to stay in that gardening leave, you know, until he's finished it, and then Man United can
The
take
thing
him.
is, what do you make about him going to Man United? Because for me, I think it's crazy, man.
I don't really give a rat's ass about him, to be honest. He's done absolutely nothing in Newcastle. He literally has done nothing here since coming in. You know, we've got Carvey on Sky Sports saying that he's the man responsible for bringing in Bruno Trippier, Anthony Gordon, Sandro Tonali, Sven Botman, and he's not even responsible for any of that. You know, the only thing that he has done out of his role in Newcastle was possibly some youth signings, but we're not going to see anything from that. You know, now it's going to be a long time ahead, you know, and who knows if any of them lads will, you know, be able to break the mold and get into the Newcastle team by that point as well, because, you know, there's going to be big money spent. There will be big money spent because the Saudis don't, you know, be second best to nobody. The Saudis are out there to be number one only. Yasser Romani said that in an interview, you know, that he wants to be number one. He wants Newcastle to be number one. So, you know, when he says it, everybody listens because that guy knows what he's talking about. He's a very powerful guy in sport right now, and not just football, but in golf as well, with the Saudis owning the Live Golf in the PGA Tour now as well. So, you know, at the end of the day, we'll see how it goes. Josh, mate, what's your score prediction for the game?
Yeah, look, as I said, I feel like it's going to be a tough game. I feel like, you know, it's going to be a very physical battle. I feel like, you know, you're going to, you know, play really tactically. Eddie Howe will set you up well organized. And I feel like it's going to be hard to break you lot down. And be similar to the St. James's game, be similar to the game at the Emirates. We have to take our chances. We have to be clinical when we do get the chances. As I said, I do think we will control the possession. I do think we will control the game. It's just about whether we can finish our chances really and improve our end product, which we have been doing the past couple of games in the Premier League. So, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a very tough game, but I'm feeling confident. I think the Porto game is a one-off. Hopefully, doesn't affect our momentum because, as I said, this is a must-win for Arsenal. Must-win game for Arsenal. If we want to win the league title, we have to win this. Even a draw is not good enough because Liverpool are 5 points clear. We go 4 behind them. Man City beat Bournemouth. It's not going to be looking good. So it's a must-win game to go 2 points behind Liverpool. I think we will win. I do think we'll keep a clean sheet as well, just based off really the whole.
Wow, a clean sheet,
mate. They haven't scored against us at the Emirates since 2010, Luca. So I do think we will keep a clean sheet, personally. But look, I'm not taking anything away from Newcastle. I think they've got a great side, and we've got to be careful because it wouldn't surprise me if we end up dropping points in this game like we did last season. We can't be doing that. So yeah, I want to go 2-0. 2-0 home win for Arsenal.
So 2-0 for you, Josh, mate. What was yours, Luca?
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1. So 2-0 and 2-1. I'm going to go with the scoreline that I said over on Josh's channel. I'm going to stick with that. I think it's probably deserving one, probably right one to go with, to be honest. I'm going to say 1-0 to Newcastle. See if we can, you know, take the 3 points away from the Emirates.
You're confident? Wow.
If not, then, you know, it's going to be a similar result to last season, you know, where we took a point away from the Emirates. I just want to go into the game, you know, put in that effort. I want the lads to be putting in the minutes on the field for it, you know, and let's hopefully see, you know, for Newcastle side of things, the lads coming away with 3 points in the game tomorrow night. Cheers, lads, for coming on. If you want to give a shout out to where people can find you on your socials. So, Josh, if you want to go first, mate.
Yeah, guys. First, I want to say, Carl, thank you very much for having me on, man. Really, really do appreciate it every single time. Big up to Luca as well. Good to see you as always, man. And yeah, you guys can find me, True Gunnar, on YouTube, obviously on the road to 7K. And yeah, we do daily content, every single day, Arsenal content. Yeah, so if you guys want that, you know, make sure you do subscribe. And yeah, it's pretty much the same on every social media. Instagram's True Gunnar. Twitter's the same, just True Gunnar, guys. TikTok's the same as well. Find me all on there. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. And thank you very much for obviously having me on, bro.
No worries, Josh, mate. Luca, you want to give a shout out to where people can find you as well?
Yeah, subscribe to my channel, Luca AFC. Yes, of course, tomorrow is a double video tomorrow. Match day vlog and also match reaction straight after the game. So there'll be a call-in show straight after the game. I'll be on Josh's watch along at 8 o'clock and or before 8 o'clock. And yeah, just subscribe to the channel. Plenty of content coming out on the channel. Double video tomorrow, man. And to keep up the great content on my channel, we're on the road to 7,000. So subscribe.
No worries, mate. So like Josh and Lucas said there, that's where you can go find them. Of course, the links to their YouTube channels are down in the description below. I will, of course, try and pin them to the top of the comments for everybody who wants to go over there, of course, and subscribe, like the videos. And before we end off the video, I'll just go through a couple of comments, of course, down below. We've got Paul Gallant there. Hi, Paul, mate. Hope you're doing well. We'll make my video later on tomorrow match. No worries, Paul. Got Moss Sports World, new at the channel. Italian, English, Livermental quality. Fully agree with that one. Odd God, Isaac's buddy. Yep. Fully agree with that. Was, of course, score predictions here from a few of the lads as well in the chat. 2-1 coming from Moss Sports World, seeing 2-1 at Arsenal, Saka, Odegaard, and Isak. Paul Gallant seeing 2-1 win for Newcastle. Really hope that happens, mate. Moss Sports putting up his lineup as well for the Arsenal team. Not too bad, to be honest. Paul Gallant as well with another comment there as well, saying I hope, pray Newcastle can get something in London. Really do hope so as well, mate. Saliba, big up Josh Panel, and Jody Dread TV as well. Fantastic Newcastle YouTuber as well, paying some respect in the panel as well. So thanks for that, mate. And yes, of course, Isak will be ready hopefully for the game, of course, down in the capital. And Channel White, of course, as well, talking about his thoughts in the game as well. So till next time, lads, thanks for coming on the channel. It's been a pleasure having you on, and may the best team win.
Big up.
No worries. How are the lads?